Welcome. This Rice 101 module series are brought to you courtesy of the Rice Processing Program here at the University of Arkansas, Division of Agriculture. My name is Griffiths Atungulu. I'm the director of the Rice Processing Program, and I'm an associate professor and an agricultural engineer, expertise in grain processing and post-harvest systems engineering. I'm housed here in the Department of Food Science. To begin with, I want to give you kind of an introduction of what this introductory series is going to involve. We are going to go through an overview of the rice processing program. Then we are going to discuss rice processing program research areas. We'll talk about some of the contents of this Rice 101 module. Let me give you a brief background of the rice processing program. This program was founded in 1994 by the then director, distinguished Professor Terry Seben Morgan. And the purpose of the rice processing program was to facilitate research that would address the needs within the U.S. rice industry. Dr. Seben Morgan passed away in 2020, but left us a rich legacy that's very global in rice industry innovation. The program is currently housed in the Food Science Department and is affiliated with the Arkansas Agricultural Experiment Station. The core mission of the University of Arkansas Rice Processing Program is to conduct both basic and applied research to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the current processing operation, as well as to provide fundamental information to be utilized in the development of new products and processes. The ultimate goal of the program is to enhance the quality and the value of rice products. As far as the scope of our program is concerned, scope ranges from property characterization of rice at harvest to the assessment of consumer preferences of the processed rice. The emphasis areas of our research encompass the area of pre-harvest property characterization. We do work on drying, rice storage, rice milling, rice quality assessment. We do work on cereal chemistry as well as sensory analysis. Concerning the history of how the rice processing, how this module series were generated, this module series were inspired by some of the feedback that we obtained from our industry sponsors. And they are designed to educate employees that are new to the rice industry on some of the basic of rice industry and rice research. These modules are simple and they address several areas in the area of post-harvest rice processing, and they are presented in a very easy to understand way, and they last about 16 to 20 minutes. And so I'll go through what some of these modules entail. The first module is going to cover the basics of rice crop and rice kernel. We go through the overview of rice production, rice classification. We look at the growth structure and the composition of rice, the rice kernel composition. And then in the second module, we'll deal with rice drying, the moisture content definition. We'll talk about the concept of equilibrium moisture content, the goal of drying, and describe the safe moisture content storage for rice. In module number 3, we'll cover the psychometrics, and we'll describe how these are very important in guiding rice drying. We'll describe some of the meaning of terms, terminologies that are presented on those psychometric charts, and we'll give some examples on how we can use psychometrics and equilibrium moisture content charts as guides in rice drying. In module number 4, we'll cover a very, very important aspect when it comes to rice drying, and that is the drying airflow. We'll describe the airflow resistance during rice drying and the factors that affect airflow resistance. We'll talk about the airflow rates that are required for rice drying, the implications of grain depth. Then we'll describe or mention the minimum airflow requirements for drying rice at different moisture contents. In module number 5, we will focus on drying fan selection. We'll talk about the type of fans that are available out there in the industry and how do we go about selecting a specific fan for a specific drying need. In module number 6, we'll describe the drying methods that are available out there in the industry. First, we'll go on to describe the common conventional drying methods, like on-farm drying, as well as high temperature drying, and then we'll describe some of the alternative drying methods that are emerging in the industry to address some of the questions that the growers are facing during the rice drying operation. In module number 7, we'll delve into rice storage, describe the needs of rice storage, describe the grain storage ecosystem, what are the problems in rice storage, what are the methods that are available there for rice storage, and what is the rice safe storage condition and what durations can we store rice. In module number 8, we'll start looking at some of the safety considerations that we need to be aware of when we are selecting different grain management systems. Under this, we'll talk about systems, for example, the auger systems, how to enter and exit a bin safely. We'll talk about things like dust explosions and how to mitigate those kind of accidents. In module number 9, we'll start looking at some of those processes that are involved in transforming that rice from its raw form to a form that can now be consumed. And in this module, we'll talk about the rice milling process, where we'll address the industrial milling operation, as well as some of the laboratory techniques that are used to assess rice milling. In module number 10, we'll focus deeply into the rice milling quality assessment. We'll describe the parameters for evaluating the milling process and the efficiency, and we'll describe some terminologies like degree of milling and what role it has in the milling operation. In module number 11, we'll describe the milled rice physicochemical properties, things like the kernel dimension, the grain color, the amylose content, the protein and lipid content, the pasting characteristics, and some other properties that are important to us after rice has been cooked, like the solid loss. In module number 12, we look at the factors affecting milling quality. We'll define terminologies related with milling quality. We'll look at factors that affect milling quality. We'll describe and distinguish the differences between milling yield and milled rice quality. And then in module number 13, we'll start covering aspects of rice grades, and we look at the grading standards that are available there as recognized by the USDA. We look at the grades for rice and the classification, both for rough rice and milled rice. Then in module number 14, we'll start looking at some of the end-use processes and value-added processes that are available there in the industry. We look at parboiling as an operation, instantization, fortification, extrusion, and value-added product that are available after processing. In module number 15, we look at rice safety issues, and we look at this based on their origin. For example, we look at rice safety issues that are associated with insect infestation. Then we look at rice safety issues that result from microbial infestation. There are those that result from chemical or metallic contamination. Then we look at issues like nutrient deficiency as well as adulteration. In module number 16, we'll cap this by looking at some of the industry terminologies that are very confusing and not familiar to the general public. We look at some units of measurements. For example, we'll define things like what a bushel is, what a barrel is, and such like. I want to end this module by, first of all, giving some acknowledgement. And to begin with, I want to say that this rice processing program would not be what it is without the dedicated effort that we get from the affiliated faculty. This program brings together faculty members with very multidisciplinary skill sets. We have carbohydrate chemists, we have sensory analysts, we have agricultural statistician, and many, many other expertise that come into this, including processing and engineering. And these faculty members bring together all this effort that eventually translate in research that affects positively the rice industry. This program would not be what it is without the support that we get from students and the staff. Our students do the work that eventually is shared with the industry in form of publication or fact sheet, and the information that is gained through this research eventually translates into what impacts the industry positively. We want to say that this program would not be what it is without a very strong sponsorship base, as well as an advisory board. And our sponsors are drawn from rice dryers, rice millers, end-use processors, equipment manufacturers, and also benefit a lot from rice producers. All their efforts, financial or just feedback from a research standpoint, feed into our program to positively influence us in a way that help us generate results that can impact the rice industry. I want to pause and just appreciate some of our current sponsors that are spread across the United States. I want to say thank you very much for the work that they do, and also pause to say thank you to all our collaborators that pulled resources together to put this program where it is. Of course, we want to be where we are today without our past sponsors. Like they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. We are here today because of some of the little efforts that we got in the past. And so thank you very much for those past sponsors to the program. I hope you enjoyed listening to this Rice 101 module. We are here to answer any questions, listen to any thoughts, receive any feedback that you might be having. The information to access me as the director are posted on this slide. And also feel free to reach out to our rice processing program coordinator, Ms. Robin January, whose information is also posted on that slide. And with that, I want to say thank you very much for listening to this introductory module.